Second, go ahead. Get set.
This conference will now be recorded.
We'll begin with the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome everybody to the April 25th Marion County Commission meeting. We'll begin with the agenda. There's a few changes. Randy Frank will not be here for emergency management. I believe we will have an executive session in that slot. County Councilor Brad Jantz is not here today. And then I would like to add an item in after Road and Bridge for storage building. Any other changes to the agenda? If not, we'll stand approved. We'll move into administrative items. Tina?
Okay. Did you want to do public?
Oh, that would help, wouldn't it? Do we have any public comments? There's no one in the room?
It looks like the Bryce is the only one online, so
Okay. Any public comments?
it doesn't look that way.
If not, we'll move into administrative. Thank you for catching me.
Okay, I have the minutes of April 18th.
Commission has had a chance to review the minutes. Any corrections? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Garing. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Becker. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Okay. I do have 2 salary changes.
Okay. First salary change is in Road and Bridge. Antone Mendeska from $25.36 to $26.62. Change to Equipment Operator 2. The next one is in Dispatch. Anastasia Leroy, a new hire, change from part-time to full-time 911 dispatcher. No change in pay, but it's $15.36 per hour.
Okay, in the packet you had the Vintage Bank proposal. You already voted to go with Vintage Bank for the lease purchase, but we need to go ahead and sign the acceptance, and then they are asking for a banking resolution to be passed, which was in your packet, which is 2022, not 21. Let me fix that, and it should be number 2022-11.
Okay, the commission had a chance to review the resolution. Is anyone ready to, with a motion
to approve the resolution 22-11?
Okay, we have a motion to approve resolution 2022-11. Is there a second?
Yes.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Gehring, second by Commissioner Dahlke. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Okay, and I'm gonna correct that date at the top, and then I'll have you sign the
Reprint.
official one before,
Thank you.
yeah, I'll reprint it. And then go ahead and get the chairman's signature on the acceptance of the proposal. Thank you. Okay, in your packets, we do have a request for transient guest tax from the Bent Rims event. And that, I did bring it to the board because we're purchasing the batteries for the radios, which the county will retain and use for other events. And you've authorized us to approve up to $1,000 for, you know, the events for each city. However, Florence will probably also have the Labor Day celebration. They have not requested funds yet, so I just wanted to bring it to you. If you wanted to do this, that's great, that's fine. Just know that Florence will have another event, and that in the past, money has been going to that as well, so.
So how much is the city requested for Labor Day?
I haven't received a request for Labor
I
Day.
mean, like last year.
Well, last year, Labor Day got the full 1,000 because that's what was requested, and that was the only event they had, so.
1,000 a year.
So anyway, we've been authorized in our office to approve and just administratively take care of $1,000 per community. Per year. And so anything beyond that would be, I would want the board to authorize, so. Like I said, this is the first request we've had this year, so we could approve this, but then when Labor Day comes, then we wouldn't necessarily be able to approve that without your permission, so.
Yeah, even though this is taking place in Florence, it's actually, it's sponsored by a club. I mean, the city itself is not sponsored.
Most of these events are sponsored by clubs. Like the city is not the sponsor of the Tampa Pride Festival. The city is not the sponsor of the Peabody 4th fireworks or the Come Home for Christmas or Fall Fest, you
Good
know,
point.
so.
And I know the end goal, like for the Bear Rams, is to help with Labor Day if they make a profit, you know. This is the first year, so they had, you know, to buy everything, snow fence,
Sure.
markers, you know.
What did we spend on radios so far?
I don't.
Not
To exceed $800.
Not to exceed 800.
Not to exceed 800, okay.
So if they could get an extra battery, they could get an extra battery.
Yeah, that's what it was, yeah.
Not to exceed 800.
So,
And there's plenty of money in transient guest funds.
Right.
I just wanted to
Right.
bring it because,
Yeah, it's definitely tourism related.
yes, it is.
Make a motion to go ahead and approve this.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Gehring to approve the transient guest tax request for Bent Rims. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second, Commissioner Crowfoot. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Okay, thank you.
thank you for setting us straight, we appreciate that, because we get crooked every once in a while.
No.
Ben.
Let's use different terms.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah, that's.
Nice catch. Off the path, maybe?
Off the path, beaten path, yeah, there you go.
Let's not use the secret.
Okay, hope not to be crooked, but that's sometimes we.
Let's not use that word.
Okay, all right.
No, I did not send.
For information, they've got 200 people already entered, so
Great, cool.
Oh, yes,
I think the goal is 600.
Yeah. The rules are getting a little hairy as far as what class and what age group, but they're getting it ironed out.
Yeah, cool.
Politics.
Yeah, everybody needs a trophy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
The only other part that I have under administrative is a short executive session for personnel hiring.
All right, I move that we reset 5 minutes.
Yes.
Okay, I move that we recess an executive session in order to discuss personnel hiring pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. For item 1, personnel matters and non-elected personnel with the commission clerk for 5 minutes from 12:45 to 12:50.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Dahlke. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. We'll be back at 12:50.
And you're a little bit early, so you need to wait 1 more minute before you make any announcement about the executive.
Thank you. While we're waiting, can you give us an update on your statewide convention plans? Everything falling into place? Okay, that was a quick report.
Things are falling into place, but there are a lot of moving pieces, so it's kind of, we're down to the last week here, so.
But nobody would know what's missing if you don't tell anybody.
Okay, good to know.
Other than
That's how much
speakers or
they're-
food.
Right.
So
Well,
where is the location?
We'll be having events at different
Oh,
locations,
they're
but the main, the conference event where we're doing all of our educational portions, that's at the Tony's Event Center.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Can we come check on you just to make sure you're doing all right?
You bet.
Oh, okay.
I'll be
I've
there.
asked Commissioner Mueller to come and give
Okay.
greetings, so
Cool.
you're all welcome to come check
So
in.
I'll give a
Good.
report.
But yeah,
All
that'll
right.
be,
Do you have an attendance number, registrations?
it's
Thousand.
different, no, not that many. We're, for our Thursday, which is our bigger day, we have about
Maybe you come up in front of
220,
1,000. Wow.
yeah. So,
All right, I think we're at 12:50.
you are, here comes the.
We are out of executive session. I note,
This conference will now be recorded.
there we go. We are out of executive session. No decisions made.
Okay.
Any
and
other administrative items?
That's all I have.
Well, we're running ahead of schedule again, which is fantastic. And our next agenda item is at 1:15. Was there another?
Well, you wanted to do this executive session for emergency management personnel, so do you want to do that now?
And that is personnel?
Personnel performance, I think.
Performance.
All right, and how long, Ken?
Oh, well, we got time, I'll make 10 minutes. 10 minutes?
15.
Okay. That's fine, 15 minutes.
I move that we recess into executive session in order to discuss personnel performance pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. I should have my glasses. For item 1, personnel matters of non-elected personnel performance. With the commission, county clerk, for 15 minutes from 12:50 to 1:05.
Second?
Second by Commissioner Becker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. We will be back at 1:05.
This conference is no longer,
And everything is on.
this conference will now be recorded.
Give people a chance to log back in.
Yeah.
Okay, it's 1:05. We are out of executive session. No decisions made. If it's okay with the commission, we'll move into the annex remodel discussion. Travis is outside.
Yeah. Did he come back?
It's seen.
Ready for you now.
I love his response. Oh.
So we're talking to girls, so.
Yeah. But the way he said, "We're ready for you." Oh, wonderful. His optimism is amazing.
Got a nice spreadsheet.
Yeah, I must have deleted my packet. Let me go find it. Of course, that's.
Oh, got dual. Very good.
Dynamic duo.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, appreciate everyone putting together the spreadsheet. I was lately at a loss last week, so this really helped me understand where the bids and the numbers all fall.
Okay.
So you've had a chance to kind of look and digest. Do you have a recommendation for us or comments?
I don't know, Kent had kind of put it that the commission could come up with a number that they felt comfortable with spending. And I think that we were kind of looking for that, but if you want to go a different direction, let us prioritize first. I think we can do that.
I think it'd be appropriate for you to prioritize for us.
Okay.
Question on that. The 2 to 3 interior windows.
Exterior,
Exterior, yeah.
okay.
What was that column for? Is that just?
The 2
The scope.
exterior window replacements on the east side, yeah.
Okay, and then the 2, 1 double door, okay, 2 interior.
So those numbers at the top, 2-1, 2-2, 2-3, that's from the RFP, the scope and the
Right.
item.
But that's an interior window joint between
Okay.
my office.
There's no reason to do the exterior, or why isn't it highlighted, I guess?
And I apologize, Christina, I did not get that to you. Is it the same?
I
Okay.
just recreated it and I
That's fine.
highlighted
I'm
the
sorry.
ones, I highlighted the ones that we
'Cause-
talked about wanting to try to do.
'Cause
Okay.
in my mind, everything's pretty well workaround if you wanted to make improvements.
Sure.
Except for those windows and the carpet. Like, if you got the carpet,
And I
you're gonna
think,
do the carpet. What I'm saying is, you'd have to move your stuff to do carpet, right?
Sure.
Windows, you'd have to move your stuff.
Yeah.
Everything else really don't have to move a lot.
sure.
So those were my priority items.
Yeah, and obviously one side's empty. There's still some smaller items that need moved. The disruption of my office would be, I don't disagree with you if we look at carpet and those exterior windows and things, it's certainly gonna disrupt. Speaking for myself, a lot of it was financial. I didn't know where the commission was on what they wanted to spend. And I think what you see highlighted seemed reasonable to me. And didn't seem like it was an excessive amount of money for what we're gonna get. So I guess ultimately, those windows are functioning. They're not as efficient as they could be, but not knowing where we're headed with that building, length of time, I don't know that they would pay for themselves. Is really the reason we did not highlight those, Jonah.
Okay, I just,
One question, were you able to follow up and find out if that one part of
I-
the bid could be split?
I did not get a hold of him.
Okay.
I will today or tomorrow for sure, and get clarification on that.
So when we all met, you know, like Travis said, looking at the financial part, they were, I think the recommendation of the things that they really wanted to see were the electrical done, the enclosure of that, where the bookshelf or the double door is now, to actually enclose that space, closing in that interior window that serves no purpose. And then they would get that all ready to paint. It was, instead of hiring a painting contractor, it was discussed maybe buying the supplies and doing it ourselves, painting ourselves. And that's what this purchase supplies and painting, do the painting ourselves, estimated cost $500. That's kind of where that came in, so not accepting the bid for painting. And then doing, the exterior door is a high priority, and the highlight shows awarding that to NF Construction. However, in the bid, it indicated that he would not split items, so we need to verify whether they will or not. If not, then your other bid is about $900, a little under, higher than that. Oh, not quite. Oh, wait, yeah, actually over 1,000, right?
Yes.
A little bit higher
Yep.
if we would go with the other contractor. And then carpet would be nice, but they were gonna, depending on what you all wanted to spend, that they'd be willing to forego it and try to clean it or something else if you don't wanna spend that much money on the facility. So that's kind of is that a nutshell of?
You stated it much better than I can. That's exactly what I meant.
I'm the interpreter.
So
Tina
so
said-
carpet's at $7,000.
$7,700 from one, and then $8,200 from
And to
the
clean it, there's $500 or $1,000 to clean it.
We don't know.
Yeah, I have not looked into that.
I mean, doesn't the carpet need to be replaced?
Well,
It's
yeah,
not as
yes.
good as this.
No, it's not as good as this. Ultimately, if it was at my house, it would need replaced. Again, we're dealing with taxpayers' money. I don't plan to, I don't want to overspend. That's ultimately where I'm at. We want it to look nice. That is a representation. Planning and zoning being in there when people come to the county to do something, and they need to go to planning and zoning, you want it to look nice. I don't want to break the bank doing it. And we thought scaling back on the painting, that was only painting like 3 rooms, that we would take care of ourselves. I think just a little sticker shock is all. And we tried to scale it back. But again, if the commission says here's $20,000, why, that changes our outlook on things too. So I think that's kind of where I'm at anyway, is I
And
mean,
the carpet's been down for 20 years, so
Sure.
it's hiding lots of stuff in it.
yeah.
I don't know that it's been down 20 years.
Well, the total of the 2 priority and optionals is what, 16.4?
And that's not including the exterior windows.
Right.
See, that's what, I guess I would prioritize those windows a little bit more. I mean, it's from the building you coming from, you know, the climate control is
Sure.
a huge issue.
Yeah,
Let's
windows would be-
fix that.
And on the exterior windows, the contractors bid 2 different specs on that. One of them bid the spec that we asked for, and one of them bid a higher spec, because they recommended going with something different.
Going away from a vinyl single hung going to an aluminum double hung.
Yeah, like a school. Yeah.
And again, it was their wholesaler or whoever said we don't prefer vinyl in that size, but vinyl isn't like what's in there.
Right.
We were gonna go with a higher quality vinyl, is what Nelson Valves versus the other ones, so.
I guess we'd have to see if they'll even split as bid.
Yeah, and again, I don't know, not to show you that I'm trying to be cheap, but I mean, that's really what we did, and if the commission said, here's this much money, I think we look at how things are gonna lay out, but.
Those windows are not the original windows, they've been replaced.
Correct.
I don't know when that was, but it was.
Jamie told me, and I think it was, and we go back and look, but it pushing 15 years.
I know it's been since I've been here.
Yeah.
But I know from the years.
Yeah, and kind of one of those, you get what you pay for. The window
Yep.
wouldn't stay open a year after it was put in, you know, things like, and it's just not the rating for the.
What top of the line?
No, it certainly wasn't that, but.
But most of the time it's heating and cooled in there. Every once in a while you get fresh air in.
Yeah, it's not the opening issue, I mean, that's just expressing the quality, but generally, yeah, it's closed, but they do allow heat and cool
Yep.
the wrong direction, so.
I think Tina's double checking the numbers, but I think what I come up with, the yellow priorities and the carpet, and using the $5,500 bid on the exterior windows, I come up just under 22.
I will check that. I was checking something.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't know you
I'm
had
sorry,
that.
exterior windows 55.
No,
Yep.
the other one is 33.
Okay, so the 33 is the higher quality?
No,
No.
but it met spec.
Oh, okay, then I'll deduct that difference out. So that'd be closer to 20,000.
Well, I guess if we consider this area bond, it's gonna give us 10 years worth of use out of it for some department or another.
Well, the building's stout.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
what do you get nowadays for 22,000?
One car garage.
You
For
can't even buy a
I've
trailer
got a
house.
deck.
If you're looking at 10 years, you may, like I said,
Find something for you.
the air conditioned heating system,
Yeah, That's,
I know what you
you're
could
gonna need that.
You could
I
buy
mean, just look at the stuff.
16-foot by 30-foot portable tills
Figure all the yellow.
for 20,000.
Okay,
And then I thought.
22.
Okay, and then, okay.
The Dirksen?
I think so.
That doesn't have.
I think I saw it. It doesn't have anything in it.
It just does, too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got some sheds up to your place, how much are those?
So you can spend another
That's what I asked if they
$20,000.
were Dirksens or not.
It's amazing what those are.
Yep. Yeah, prices, yeah, for sure.
19,793.
There we go.
79.
Just under
Plus-
20,000.
Plus paint supplies.
Right, then add the paint supplies in. So if we could say a number of 21,000, have to give 1,000 for paint supplies. Commission.
We need-
What I'm hearing is the priorities of being the yellow numbers, the lower bid on the exterior windows, and then the carpet, and about 1,000 for paint. And again, that's if.
Carpet split out.
Oh, carpet square.
Carpet squares,
Yeah.
great replacement.
Got awful quiet.
I'd make a motion to go with what you just said, Dave, with a maximum of 21,000.
I think I'll have a little more because when they remodel, you'll find surprises. Be 25.
We'll approve those as needed.
With what?
We'll approve that as needed. Change orders will be as needed.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Yes,
we have
yes, there were two.
a motion to, not to exceed number of 21,000, utilizing priority items, prioritizing the spreadsheet, adding the exterior windows at 3318. Is that your motion?
Yes.
And the optional item.
And the optional item of paint,
Carpet.
carpet, yes, and then
Yep.
paint materials.
Yep.
Paint others, which is always us.
Second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Gearing, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. So when do you want each of the commissioners over to help paint?
Two at a time.
Oh, yeah, that's right, two at a time.
Well, since you're replacing the carpet now,
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and bring the Wagner.
That makes
Yeah.
painting a lot easier.
Yeah, the spray painter.
Yeah.
Help.
How
Just need
does
people to
that
paint.
go?
Yeah. Carpet goes in
Can you,
last.
I'm gonna still need you probably to verify that we can get a split bid from Cody for the exterior windows and door only.
Okay.
And then we'll send we can do a little notice to proceed or notice of award to
Okay.
to all of them.
Carpet last,
Yeah.
after the paint.
So, okay.
But hey, if you would follow up on that, that'd be great.
I'll
Okay,
get to work on that right now.
okay.
But do the painting before the carpet gets in. Make that the last.
All right, anything else?
We're good.
All right,
Got it.
Sharon?
Thanks, Travis.
You good?
I'm good.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Sharon, are you ready to move into your items?
Yes, sir. Turn the page over to these issues now, right?
Yep, next page.
Okay. So, I believe you all received my memo regarding the request for an additional full-time staff person in the Planning and Zoning and Environmental Health Department. The need for an additional staff is becoming more and more prevalent. A couple of years ago, it felt like we needed more staff. Last year, it definitely felt like we needed more staff, and this year, it's,
Didn't go away.
yeah, it's just inevitable that the workload is increasing. So you can see that this full-time position is requested as a planning and zoning environmental health specialist. There's already a full-time office assistant or administrative assistant that handles the daily phone calls, citizen inquiries, parcel file upkeep, all the paperwork side of the office. But I need someone that can help be specialized in the environmental side, learn how to size and site wastewater systems, and learn how to do well inspections, become more familiar with the floodplain regulations and things like that. All of that takes extra training, extra time. It would just be a huge help, and it would help us keep up on the follow-up of items and the CUP reviews and different things like that. So, do you have some questions for me?
No, go ahead. I'm listening.
Okay.
Well, I know from the time that Kent and I were on planning and zoning, the workload has certainly exploded, which in many ways is a good thing. There's more construction, there's more wastewater systems going in, being done, improvements in the county. But at the same time, that's more permitting, that's more field work. It takes a lot more to follow up.
That's right. Each separate thing that we deal with at our office takes a multitude of paperwork and inspections and, you know, different checkpoints all along the way. It's not as simple as here's the thing you need to do, you go out, do it, and one day it's done. There's a lot more steps involved.
And we appreciate the follow-up and the tracking of that process. So Commissioner Dalkey.
I have a lot of questions, but it may lead to personnel discussion in this department. And so I think where some of my questions could be asked, if it involves personnel, I think I'd have to go into executive session.
5 minutes.
Yeah, maybe 10.
Okay, we'll go 10.
Maybe 10, yeah.
I move that we recess into executive session in order to discuss personnel performance. Pursuant to KSA 75-4319B, item 1, personnel matters of non-elected personnel with Commission Sharon Tina for 10 minutes from 1:25 to 1:35. Second. Second by Commissioner Becker. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. We'll be back at 1:35.
This conference will now be recorded.
We're out of executive session, no decisions made. I guess I would make a motion that we establish a position in the Marion County Planning and Zoning Environmental Health for full-time staff. Planning and Zoning and Environmental Health Specialist.
Make that a field rep.
Field rep?
Field rep.
Field rep.
That way I don't emphasize more the field side. I'll second that.
Okay, so second by Commissioner Garing. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Aye.
4-1. Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Now the fun begins.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
Hillsborough Ford has a nice looking expedition sitting over there in a used car lot.
They traded for a nice old razor too the other day. You could probably get one of those anywhere you want to
Ooh,
go.
I'd take a razor.
It's supercharged.
You wouldn't be able to use any of the roads in Marion County.
Oh no, you're allowed on every road.
But that's okay, I don't need roads.
UTVs are allowed on any county road, you just can't drive it through town.
I'll go check on it.
But you can get anywhere.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon.
And that would be unique.
Hillsborough Ford has it. They took it on trade.
Zero out.
We're ready for Bryce.
Cold out.
Yeah.
I think Sharon just set me up.
Sides or heater in it?
Put-
It
you can
all
put a
depends on how
closer
you
on it.
turn it.
Well, she said that she got you all happy, so you're ready for me. Here's laughing.
She just has a smile on her face all the time.
Well, yeah. I won't tell you what that smile means. All right, start off with fuel bids, transfer fuel bids. Epps was low, so recommendation to get those approved.
Motion to go with recommendation.
Okay, we have a motion to go with Epps on the fuel bid. Is there a second? I'll
Have
second
you
it.
looked at it yet?
All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
If you want to read those.
Epps is,
No,
Epps
show
was
the
low at 31,382.50 versus MSA at 32,677. Pretty close.
Yep. Okay, we also have area fuel bids. MFA was low on area 2 and Epps was low on area 1 and 3. Recommend for those.
That we may have to see before which ones were.
Okay.
There you go.
Epps is low on 1 and 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what you said?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, I'll make a motion to go with the recommendation.
Which is Epps on 1 and 3.
MFA on
Okay, on 2. MFA on 2. Motion by Commissioner Garing, second Commissioner Becker. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Oh, I'm still not bidding, so. Sent you the spreadsheet recap for bond use, or project cost, everything else bond use. Obviously, it's more than it was back then, but I put in there some extra work as far as doing work on the full depth reclamations and stuff like that. Based on what I looked at, I guess, up to you guys as to what you want to put towards it.
Oh, which projects?
Yeah.
For the bond is about 5 million, approximately.
4.8. And keep it below a certain number.
When you made the motion, it was up to 5 million.
So the projects can exceed that.
Yes. I will tell you, and I don't know how far you can carry this out there, but I sent out the Indigo Road contract for bidding. Should send it to the KCA, so they will send it out on their weekly notice. I sent it out to a couple contractors just to make sure they got the information out. Received an immediate response, says we can't do it this year, but we'd sure like to do it next year. That was just right off the bat, so I don't know if we're gonna get that from everybody else or not. But I don't know if we can carry those funds over that long either, so. Something just to throw out there. I mean, obviously that was the biggest dollar figures. Well, 290th as well.
Well, that would be 40%. On 290.
Right, right. So,
So let's set the priorities for the bond project first. I would say obviously Indigo. Do you want to do, Commission want to put all 3 in? Indigo, Kansas, and 290th? Tina, would that be appropriate?
My understanding from bond council was that you can name as many projects and estimated costs as you want to. It gives you flexibility to put a certain amount from bond funds toward that project. You wouldn't have to fund the whole thing through the bond.
Right.
So,
So as far as the sheet goes, the ones marked bond, that would be your recommendation?
that's the ones that we have talked about the most, as being the highest priority. Again, I mean, I gave you a list, there's an awful lot of projects,
Right.
so. The
I
ones,
guess I missed 190th. I mean, we could throw 190th in there too.
yeah,
That's what,
Yeah,
I
sorry.
take Bryce's
Yeah,
recommendation.
I agree with Jonah. Sorry, I didn't. I jumped ahead.
The bonded items.
We need a motion to put those as projects for the bond.
you wouldn't necessarily have to have a motion today, I don't think.
You just need the information
If
to send the
I
bond.
just need to be able to tell them,
Okay.
which ones you're looking at. A consensus would be good.
Okay. Do we have a consensus to go with Bryce's recommendation of those 4 projects on the bond?
Give them again.
They're on the sheet.
Four marked
Get to
bond.
be
Oh,
Kansas,
bond?
Yeah.
290th, 190th, and Indigo. Those have been our 4 highest priorities. And obviously, we'll continue to pursue cost share opportunities on Indigo. So I got a consensus from Jonah, Kent, Dave. I'm waiting on my last commissioner.
You're doing Indigo, all complete Indigo?
Yeah.
And what are you doing to it? Doing any?
That's, well, we will go in there and patch ahead of time, and then the 120th south was a 3-inch overlay, and from there north to town was a 2-inch.
Okay, that's the 3 million total.
Plus
Yeah.
plus some county time, the way I understand it, to
Yep.
put in some French drain
Right.
stuff.
Okay.
Okay, we've got our consensus.
All right.
If you want to, that's fine.
All right, I will. I'd make a motion that we use bond proceeds, or the projects we submit for bond proceeds are Kansas from US 56 to fertilizer plant, 290th K15 to US 5677, 190th from KE 256 to US 56, and Indigo from Harvey County line to Hillsborough per county engineer recommendation. Is there a second? Second, Commissioner Garing. Discussion? Not all in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay.
No, I die.
Motion carried 5-0. Thank you. I think that's better than motion.
Okay.
Very good. Got fun projects.
Along with that, I sent you the economic development stuff for 290th. I guess I'm really struggling about, obviously following KDOT's recommendation, but the biggest thing that I look at is it's not supposed to, any new or expanding business must be non-speculative. Kind of question that, and then it says they must create new jobs and capital investment in Kansas. So I guess I'm open to ideas as to what you guys may think we could put in there. I mean, or whether KDOT would, I don't know if they get a lot of demand for this, so whether we just turn it in and.
Well, the story behind it is they recommended we apply for this program because they turned us down on high-risk enrollment. Cost share, those all have $1 million cap on them, so
Okay.
we couldn't get our 60%. So I guess I'm reading that as an assistance from the state, or kind of a
Right.
guidance from the state of where to apply.
Right.
And I would be happy to work with you on coming up with some wording in that
Okay.
grant. Because I agree, reading the grant, I question,
Yeah.
but because their people gave you guidance in that direction,
Yeah.
I think we need to make the application. If that's denied, then we've got to
Yeah.
start over.
Okay. Well, like I said, I was just
Yep.
looking at that stuff.
Yeah,
So.
I agree. Just work with me on that, and I'll
Okay.
help some wording. Commissioner Balke?
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna ask a question back on the bonds deal. Why are we spending 50 million to 500,000 cost per mile versus 270,000 on a less traveled road
Which one?
on 290th versus Indigo?
290 is on
Well, the Indigo involves shoulder widening. We're going to do the full depth reclamation and then an overlay on top of that. So the shoulder widenings are.
Commission? We've talked about what it needs down south, and we're not getting it on the rough areas. The south end, the 7 miles to Gossel, the south end of the project of Indigo.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're not doing that down there, but yet we're doing it up here. Here we go again, I just don't agree with our principles here. Our high mileage road is Indigo,
Mhm.
not 290th.
Right.
And so we're not spending that, because you say it's not needed to do anything down there. But yet you-
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that Indigo just requires an edge wedge where we're widening the road on 290.
Just want to
And-
bring that
and-
out to everybody's
Yeah,
attention
and
here.
possibly structures. I mean, that's, you know, the cross-sectional area on Indigo is great. I mean, I believe Marion County rebuilt that years ago, added shoulders and everything else that we did. So, I mean, that's not the concern, it's just the pavement structure. Up there, we have a lot more to worry about. The road isn't near as wide and,
By all your core samples, they say that we don't need full depth on Indigo, at least on that section.
well, I'm not saying that the full depth reclamation wouldn't be the better thing to do, but it's going to cost more because we got to turn around and probably put 3 inches overlay back on top of it for the amount of traffic. I mean, if that's what you
But I mean, we've taken all these core samples,
Mhm.
and based on what you're saying those core samples say, that's not the issue.
Well, the issue that we encountered was basically the varying depths of pavement, but below that was pretty much clay soils that do not, especially when wet, do not hold the pavement as well as they are now unless we add more structure. Because there's a lot of cold mix and chip seals and stuff like that underneath there as well.
So it's better to go up than down,
Well,
being simple-minded.
yeah. Well, I mean, all things considered, that's still something that we could do. You know, if you want to go back and do that, but again,
That's another,
Well,
how much a mile is that?
well, it's probably another,
don't need to do full miles. What if, I'm just kicking it out there. Well, what if you cut out certain sections that are the bad sections, concreted them back, then overlaid,
concrete.
cement?
Oh, you mean the full depth
Full
reclamation?
depth.
No, not full depth, like actual concrete, to bridge over those bad areas.
Okay,
So you wouldn't have to do a full depth, you'd pour a concrete bridge on land.
yeah.
And
By the time you went back and poured I mean, basically they say the minimum concrete you'd want to put out there would be 6 to 8 inches. So if you did that for that stretch of time, and your unit cost would be quite prohibitive for piecing stuff in. Then you deal with the fact is, okay, now you change the pavement section in that area, what about the rest of it? Because if you put concrete pavement out there, your life cycle costs are gonna be a lot farther down the road than it would be for the rest of the pavement. So do you wanna go back and,
no, I meant just put concrete back to the asphalt level it is now.
that's
And then
what,
overlay.
but that's what I'm saying though, when you redo that base, or you redo that pavement section, that section there is going to perform better than what it will the rest of it.
Right.
So then, how many years down the road, you're now redoing something else there, and now you're piecemealing and stuff.
I'm just trying not to do 3 miles of full depth and just doing a football field. But you can't do just a football field with full depth reclamation because they got to mobilize. But you
So,
could.
so does concrete pavers and stuff like that. That's gonna be a high dollar mobilization as well. Everything comes down to your unit cost. The more you do, the less your unit price is,
Right.
but, and also you're gonna have to deal with traffic control out there if you do concrete pavement, because now you're gonna have to shut the pavement, either, detour everybody fully, or do 1 lane at a time for, I mean, like they did north of Lincolnville, or, yeah. So where you run a mile at a time and you run a signal assist, you know.
We're
So,
not talking about a mile. I mean, we're talking about 5, 6 bad spots.
again, you have to worry about, your traffic control. Those sections will have to be over a mile away, from each other in order to set up a traffic control or a traffic signal for signs. Unless you put 2 or 3 of them together, because you've got to make sure that you can get your traffic flow through there.
I want to provide a good road for everybody.
Yeah.
That's bottom line. But I don't want to go through a bond issue and then take and 3 to 4 years from now, see what's happening on a road that we didn't do our thing on, do a good job on.
Right.
Due diligence.
Due diligence, and then up where, and that's a heavy traveled road. 290th has got a lot of heavy trucks and
Mhm.
stuff crossing it, but yet it's less traffic than what's down south.
Right.
On that road. So I'm trying to provide a equal to both ends. We talked about from Gosel south, trying to divide it even at half, and instead of going the whole, and I'm not real proud of that either, but that's, if it gives me a better project, then I'd vote for that before I would the whole thing. If it gives me a better road to bank on, Dave Mueller's up there, he can tell what 6 inches of asphalt's done to that road up there, but we had a base already when we laid that 6 inches. We had it already built, but it's a narrow road, it don't have no shoulders on it. 330 it don't, I mean, it's got a little bit, but nothing. And I think that's what you're trying to do with 290, is come back to where you get some more shoulders, I think, probably.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
Well, and the 330th section that you did from K-15 to Tampa, performing very well. Other than, I was gonna get to this later on, they're shooting the cracks over there, and those cracks go all the way down. They're taking, he says, they're filling them 2 or 3 times before they leave. So, but anyway, that's
So
gonna
I guess
happen.
I'm gonna get back to the issue at hand, and that's the south of the Indigo. We've had very, very strong indication from the commission of there's a desire for base work, spot base work.
Okay.
And what I've heard is you've committed to doing that, as Commissioner Gary and Commissioner Dahlke have talked about, in those spots that have been identified.
Now-
Jonah, follow up. Is that, am I hearing
Plus,
that correct?
I just want to make sure, I'm same camp as Randy. I mean, I just
Those spots,
really
I-
gotta make sure that road, we don't, 2 years down the road, we don't go, well, told you, you should have pulled that up, you should have done that.
Well, here's another thing if you're interested.
Should've
There-
got 10-year bonds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we gotta make 10 years before they can start.
And I'd like the commission to, what Kent just said, talk about. We held back after we did, that was a special project that we got a pretty good interest rate on for the $2 million. that
We
was-
got the funding through KDOT.
Yeah, KDOT was a pretty good project, but it was a 10 to 12 years. And so you do what we gotta do
Right.
is pay for 10 years and
Right.
12 years, and I've sat through that whole project, and I know that we cut other projects because we had to pay for that $2 million.
And we also brought in over $2 million in business development in that town after that road was built, within the first 2 years.
I'm
Because
not
that road
gonna,
was-
that's not, that, I'm not gonna talk about that. I've heard
Well,
about
you
that.
brought
I'm
it
not
up,
gonna talk
so
about
I've
that,
gotta
but I'm
bring
just
up my
saying,
side of it.
I'm talking about talking or paying for the project.
Right.
And that's,
Right, and those taxpayers are paying for
and
that project.
all of us will be gone except for Jonah in 10 years. And he'll be sitting here and he'll still be paying for it, so.
Well, again, we're all on the same boat. We
Yeah.
want the project done right.
Yes.
Is that, that's what I'm
Yep.
hearing, is we
Yes.
want the project done right.
And I don't wanna come off that I don't trust Bryce.
No.
I just really wanna be sure.
Well, I wish I had the magic ball to tell you exactly what it is. Now, if you're concerned about that, we could go back in and we could do full depth reclamation with cement all the way through there and then put an overlay back on top of it and
Yeah.
probably get a very good life out of it as well. At least I say probably feel more comfortable based on, I mean, the year that we've had these cement chase upgrades out here. I think they're performing, fairly well. I mean, obviously not the best choice, or the best, whatever else, but you look at what we saved. But one thing about it, if you did that and then put an overlay on it, you would have something that should last the 10 to 15 years pretty easy. Now, again, adding the structure back on top of there, I think you would get those benefits as well. But ultimately, it comes down to the fact is, and to say that we took cores approximately a mile. That is this point right here.
But you did take cores on the bad spots though.
Yes. And
I mean, I seen
yeah.
the loops
The
and the
whole
flags.
Yeah, and you could actually, yeah, and you could, and I was thinking that at that point, I would find something that was,
Uh-huh.
yeah, maybe standing water or whatever else is, but I didn't see that. I just saw the same clays down there that were wet, and of course, will you be able to dry those out? Probably never.
But you're gonna put something under there, right? French drain.
Well, but I'm just saying the whole road.
Cord-
I mean, we can't, to say we could go out there and put a French drain in every one of those locations, I don't know if it's worth that. Some of them are pretty isolated, others aren't. Obviously, the area down there towards the south end, we had those, a couple big areas. We need to look at something there. But again, I can do whatever you guys want. If you'd rather go back and do, I mean, if you want, I could get some other pavement people in and say, hey, give me your recommendation based on what we got. So if you feel more comfortable with that.
If we're gonna bond this, it's gonna be 10-year bonds. We need a 10, 15-year road.
At least.
Whatever that is, I don't have the answer. You
Yeah.
do, you're supposed to have the answer. It's gotta be a 10 or 15-year road, because we
Well-
gotta pay for it and not end up with a bunch of junk
It's
after
gotta be
5.
20.
20.
Well, for instance.
Because we're gonna have to be buying other roads.
Yeah, for instance, 290th, the DNL road was overlaid, somebody say it was mid-2000s, early 2000s, does anybody remember?
Well, the first overlay was in 2000 period.
Okay.
And then they've been done once, I think. since
Okay,
then.
so I don't know if that's been 2010, I mean, earlier than that. What I'm getting is, that say for instance it was done in 2010, and here it is 12 years old, and it's at its end of its useful life. That would be a 2-inch overlay, not taking consideration what's below there. Just to put that in perspective. Now again, that road probably faces as much heavy per axle traffic as any of them around, with the elevators all the way around. So you look at that as an example. Indigo has a lot more traffic, but not so much as heavy traffic as commuters.
There's a lot of semis running up and down.
Well, but I'm just
They
saying.
treat it like a highway.
Yeah, in comparison, of course, there's a lot of commuters over there too. I mean, I could talk to try to get some traffic counts that would, well, I guess the traffic counts, we'd almost have to have somebody out there just visualizing what they were. And
But what I'm hearing is the concern is more about the base on the last, is it 5 miles?
Yeah, it's,
The south 5 miles?
it's
120
it's
to 7 miles.
It's not even really that bad till you get to that hill, and then it all starts. Like, totally
Last
changes.
two for sure.
yeah.
Um,
But like I said, the other thing is, if we don't want to go out and do that, I sent you a message, the 2 people that were, the in-state people would have some time available this year, but that's as of last week. Not saying we wouldn't offer it to the other people that do the job, but I'm just throwing that out there, that if you wanted to do that, or if you wanted to do full depth reclamation on the south 5 miles and just overlay the rest of it. Because honestly, doing the full depth reclamation would probably reduce, if not eliminate, all the work we'd have to do for base patching and French drains.
But
Okay, so
I would like to invite anybody to drive what we did this last year on Nighthawk. And if we come out with this again, then we're not accomplishing much by just spending any amount of money.
Yeah, because once
I drove this week, I haven't been up for a long time.
It's something that, and they don't have no laser alignment, it's all by eye. It's all guesswork. I don't know that I'm proud of it. I mean, it's good and it's done what it's supposed to do. It'd been a lot better if it overlaid it, yes. But that speed, that bouncing up and down and that's what the public's talking about when they're driving it, is minutes.
First of all, I'd like to say that it wasn't done by eye. They do have sensors. I can also, my professional experiences, I think with the cementitious subgrade down there, that it's actually, because obviously it's like, cementitious spots, it takes a while to set up. So I think that we have some other, whatever you want to call it, settlement, movement, compaction, whatever else that's happened since. They can never predict that. I've talked to the guys, they just don't know. Now, as far as the trimming, I can tell you for those guys that went up to Wabaunsee, was it Wabaunsee County?
Yep.
And they didn't trim that at all.
But Dave and I drove it at 65, 70 miles an hour, and it's not, there's one or two spots in it, but nothing as close to what we have as many down here.
It's about every 150 feet. You can watch the white line.
Yeah, it's
But like I said, it's, you know, I could go back and I could say, okay, we want to profile this to surface lift under this requirements. So if it does take 2 passes, whatever the case, I mean, I can specify that if that's what you want.
Just
To make it smoother.
I think the result of that road just means we gotta have an overlay sooner than we thought.
The other thing is with that road, one of the biggest issues was safety. From what I've seen, I mean, I know other people said, I think it has more traffic now than what it did last year. And so that was the main concern we were looking at as far as that was safety. Now to say that it's rough, wavy, hilly, whatever you want to call it, I still think it's a better road than what we had. By far.
Yeah.
You can still drive at 70 mile an hour, but it's just,
Well, I mean,
it's just not unsafe.
It's a county road, guys.
well, and that's my point. Is, I mean,
It's 70 mile an hour.
Not a super highway.
Actually, it's better than the interstate.
Yeah.
Out of the
It's better than
interstate.
the interstate down in Oklahoma. I'll tell you that.
But if you're spending three million or you're spending 7 million, you want a decent job.
Yeah. Once you spend $1 million, you want perfection.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's what you want. And so I don't, and Bryce, if it takes more time for them to cut it to keep that out of there, maybe so. I mean, but I do see their compactors is what's caused the vibration. Because you can see you can go right down there on Peabody Street right now and see where they packed with their.
well, and you know, that was unexpected as well, because when that was milled, you didn't see those. And I don't know,
It showed up from underneath.
Now, wait a minute. I had a motor grader operator that said, don't go out there because you'll see every little compaction hole, because it just rained after they was done and they could see it.
okay, well, and like I said, that was totally, you know, unpredicted, whatever else, but I guess you guys at least have the amount of, have projects that we can throw
Right.
towards that.
And I guess we can change that
Yeah.
if we do the bond
Well, we
project. Yeah.
can always spend more when we don't want to.
Right. Okay.
Well, that answers some of my questions, and
Okay.
Commission, I think we need some serious thoughts about what we are doing to help Bryce, because we don't get once to go around here. I mean, it's 10 years payoff or so is what we're looking at for the money, so.
And like I said, it's gonna last a lot longer than that bond, because
Yeah.
once that bond's paid for, you're gonna have other roads that need it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they need it now. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry to do that, Bryce, but I just couldn't let it go.
I
I
understand.
have to voice my opinion.
Sure.
That's what I'm here for.
I sent you guys my gravel road plan, rebuilding.
Mm-hmm.
Any comments, suggestions?
Should have some more.
Well,
I do. I got some more too.
I look at that too, but again, you know, at that rate, plus the trucking costs and things like that, you know, the other thing is weather-wise, I hope we can do what we want to do, but again, I tried to break it up even amounts in each district, except for 4, which we're still waiting to hear what the wind farm's gonna do. So we should get quite a few improvements down there, but I guess I'd kind of like to get started, well, we're kind of plan is to work on that. Currently, as of today, we're rebuilding Pawnee from 60th to Highway 50. So they're down there now, hopefully have that done, plan on putting some crushed concrete on it for Wednesday. So we'll get that going, but that should help immensely, because that's a very, very highly traveled road, especially with big trucks. So we're doing
I appreciate having the plan for rebuilds for the year and as a goal.
Yeah.
And I know last year, I think I saw something similar.
Yeah.
And with the shortage of staff,
Yeah.
there was.
And with those 2 big rains.
Yeah, you
hurt us,
obviously
so-
didn't happen, but I really hope this year this rebuild's
I
coming.
hope so too.
Yeah.
So-
Now, on these road rebuilds where you're doing a section of, I'm just looking at Diamond, you know, up to 290th.
Right,
You know, that stretch from 290th to
North.
330th
Sure.
is probably
Well, and-
maybe worse than the part you're rebuilding.
Yeah,
Even
and
though
you know-
even though the part that's rebuilding is bad too.
well, and the other thing is, as long as you look at Diamond all the way through, you know, all the way up
Yeah.
to Dixon County.
Yeah.
And it gets to the point to where do we,
Yeah.
You know-
Well, and this is this year.
right,
I
For next year.
guess I would expect then next year that would
that's, yeah.
you'd be up to 330th or
Yeah.
north of
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, that's the plan. Like I said, I'm just trying to pick
Yeah.
what I think is a relatively good number to try to redo, so all the way around. So anyway, we will keep working on that. You guys have any other suggestions, whatever else, please let me know. I contacted Scott Burkamp at the quarry up there at Lincolnville. He is going to, in the past, he's made a road rock that has very, very few fines in it. He said they actually can make that product. It's a very, very good thing for road rock because they in turn take what's left and they make screenings in it because that's what a lot of the farmers want for their cattle and stuff. So he was going to get back with me on a price and a time frame with that. So, more to follow on that. Okay, the technician position descriptions, any comments, suggestions, or?
Well, it's getting to be time, need to be on board. In light of the inspection work, not only on the wind farm, but all of these other projects and all of these other rebuilds,
Yeah.
it certainly seems to me like it would be a good fit. That's just my feeling, and I'd like to hear what the rest of the commission has to say.
Kind of piqued my interest a little bit. I know it's not gonna be probably everybody's ideal, but, talk about Sharon's person. Code enforcement.
This, yeah.
Kind of falls into the same category. Is there any collaboration that could go on there for that position?
well, I mean, honestly, yes, because Sharon and I are doing that right now. She has to go out and basically come up with 911 addresses and things like that. I'm looking at the locations for driveways and stuff like that to make sure they're okay with that. So yeah, we're working on that now.
So I'm just saying that, is it possible to bring that position, rather than a full-time for either one of you, but more of a bridge?
I can sure talk to her. But yeah, I mean, it comes in, especially during these wind farm projects. You know, you know, together, because like I said, we're both looking at it and waiting to hear back from them as to what they're gonna do, so. But let me talk to her and see what we can do about it, maybe put it together.
We're not
Trying to say
putting
one-
any culverts in for the wind farm, are we?
Nope,
Okay.
Why would that position be under the road superintendent instead of you?
well, I put it that way, for the situation to where when maybe they're out driving the truck, they report to the superintendent. Or that if down the road, I'm not here, there's somebody, or whatever, there is no county engineer, they would be there. I can put it on the engineer, whatever you wanna do, or both. I was just thinking that was to cover everything.
I would think it would be under both of you.
If, that's fine. I mean, like I said, I have no problem with it, so.
Sort of it
Why?
is.
Huh?
Sort of it is. It is, if it's underneath the road supervisor.
Right.
That supervisor's underneath the engineer.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm talking about direct correspondence.
Yeah.
Right.
Majority of that majority of it should go through me. But anyway, if you want it that way, you want it both, I mean, I understand either way.
Well, I think the big overriding issue is We need to figure out a way how to make your office more efficient so you have more time.
Yes.
And I do not see that happening in the office. I think there's some efficiencies that could be found there that would help you out more.
Okay.
And, you know, anything else we need to discuss in executive session.
Okay. Well, let me talk with Sharon about this.
Just, maybe we could wind up with,
I guess I look at it, this position is really overloaded even for one full-time person, for what you're asking of it. I can't imagine trying to fit this description on a part-time person. And the responsibilities that are gonna have this year is gonna be more than full-time.
It's a big job description.
So I guess I'm still gonna argue for this being a full-time position under Road and Bridge. And I see the priority.
And is there budget for it? Because you're talking about a position that's quite a bit higher paid
Yes.
than your top operator.
Well, the budget is basically, as far as personnel stuff like that, that comes from the clerk's office based on what my number of employees and stuff like that I have. That varies so much down the road, or, you know, at all times. But I mean, to say that I could turn around and budget more for that, again, that comes from the clerk's office, based on what you guys have said.
positions you had.
Yeah. Now, I can tell you that in the administrative portion, there are 2 positions that, well, they haven't been open for several years, or they haven't been filled for several years.
Phil.
So,
The what positions?
the 2 former positions. There's Steve, and then there was 2 others.
We didn't have an engineer at that time either.
Right, well, if that's.
Both of them wages would add up to the engineer's wage.
Yeah. So, but, yeah, I mean, I basically use at my budget every year based on those number of people. So if that needs to be raised, but I'm just, you know, like I said, that's the other thing is by getting some of this stuff taken care of by other people gives me more time to be out there doing the other stuff that I should be doing as well.
And that's, we've piled a number of projects and a number of expectations on you to get done in the next
Yeah.
2 years. And we need to supply you with personnel to do
Yeah.
that. And be efficient. And we're a long rambling, but again, coming back to the wind farm, instead of paying a consultant the $600,000 to do it, the money is coming directly to the county to do it. So we do have some revenue source there to help cover that position, and some savings that help cover that position.
1 year.
Right.
Well, be probably good 2 full years. You know, because this project will definitely go into middle to end of next year, if not longer.
Yeah, the follow-up.
And who knows what comes to play after that too, but, there's no doubt I can keep this person.
Right. And our bond wish, our wish list, that's gonna be going on for multiple years. That's not gonna all end at July 1st of 2023. It's not, I mean, yeah. But I feel, I'm very pleased the commission is taking action, and we're trying to do things right and try to get these projects done. But we also need to have inspection and the personnel field work to see that it's done right. I should have a quieter room. Commissioner Dawkins.
Today, we've been approached by 2 different departments to raise 2 more employees. Nothing against Bryce, nothing against Sheriff. That's a whole mill levy at least in taxes. But yet, when it comes to tax time and budget time, what are we gonna say? Cut the budget. So, and to bring an added position in the middle of the year without being budgeted in and doing it when the budget's accepted, maybe for the first of the year, I don't know. How many times do you do this a year? How do you pay for it?
For one thing, how many unfilled positions do we have the past year? So that money is not I mean, those positions weren't filled, those positions weren't paid. The other thing is, how many years has the commission gone without filling positions that needed to be filled? How many years do we have 5 major pavement projects on the plate? How many years do we have a wind farm project that's not
I'm
gonna be handled by
talking about
consultant?
positions now. I'm not talking about all that other stuff. I'm talking about positions, and you're adding personnel.
Mhm.
And so, just, yeah, it's easy to vote yes, but remember, you gotta pay for it.
Yep.
And I
Well,
think-
if
I
you're
think so.
worried about a full-time employee, I could go out and find a consultant to do the job or whatever as well. You know,
Twice as much.
well, I'm just saying, you know.
No doubt about that.
Yeah, I think, you know, between the government and the people and technology, is just taking more people to do things right. And you may not be able to fill these positions in the next 12 months.
I don't know. I hope
And
I
that's,
can,
I
but
mean,
anyway.
in private industry, there's a way shortage of people.
Okay. Well, in an effort to move on, well, we can discuss this.
I'm ready to make a motion.
Well, and that's another point, because if you can't hire a person with all of those skills, same way we were talking with Sharon, if you have to spend a bunch of time, or Steve have spend a bunch of time training, then we've defeated our purpose. I mean, this is a position with the responsibilities that are out there right now, needs to be able to hit the road running.
But if you don't have the position established and you don't try to fill it, you're never gonna fill it.
To be honest with you, I think it's, not saying an impossibility, but to, you try to find the best person you can to fill most of what you're looking for. Yeah, even if they know what they're doing, they're still gonna have to be trained in the way that we do things, the way things are documented. I mean, that's inevitable. But that's just something that you have to do with employees.
Answer me this, then. If you could spend 80% of your time out of the office rather than into the office, could you handle it?
If I could spend 80% in the field,
Yes.
I'd love to have that kind of flexibility.
Well, that gets me back to the people you've got in the office, the efficiencies that are there, the right people because, you know, the office is always gonna have a certain amount of detail work that they have to do. Stuff that, I mean, not detail, but daily and routine and those kind of things. And I think that we'd be doing you a service if we could get you out in the field more.
Mhm.
I mean, you're tied up with, you're always gonna have to spend some time in the office, I know
Right.
that. But I think for the overall health and benefit of Road and Bridge, if you're out more and in less with people that you trust that can get it done down there, wouldn't that be a,
Well, I guess I'm a little, the question is, so you're saying that you want me to have this position, or we need to do more in the office?
no, I'm just, it wasn't whether we needed it or not. I'm trying to make a point here that if you had the time to be out, okay, now I'll ask it, if you had the time to be out, would you need that position?
I see what you're saying. If I could spend that amount of time in the field, would be great, I could handle all that. Can I spend that much time out there with everything else that needs to happen? No.
And so keep going, Bryce. What he's trying to, I think what I hear from him say is, do you need somebody out there that can make a few more decisions on things in the office? Or do you have to make
No.
all the decisions?
Well, the day-to-day decisions, whatever else, aren't that big a deal. The planning, the going out, the biggest thing is going out to look at this or look at that, or biggest thing is I don't spend enough time with the guys out there like we should. That's the big thing. But can any of that stuff basically fall back to the office people? No. You know, the other
Not
thing,
out in the field work, no, I'm not.
right,
I don't
but that's
think
the other
it's
thing I
actually-
look at is with the I say, inexperience or lack of knowledge between both of them down there. That's not their fault, they just haven't been out in the field. Now, obviously, when Bev was there, she'd been around for so long that she basically knew all that
If
stuff.
you get too far down this track, you need an executive.
But I just, yeah,
I guess from my perspective, I always thought your key role is county engineer, and a lot of that is design work and grant applications, and that's paperwork you gotta be in the office for.
it's everything.
Yeah.
And you're feeling, Dave, from what he's saying to this new position, that you think that would be to give him back in the office more, to do that stuff?
To spend more time doing engineer work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kent's asking just the
I know,
opposite.
we're all in different clouds here
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now.
He's one, to be able to
But
do
the
that.
original job description of the engineer included being out in the field.
It included everything.
I'm just thinking back, I don't have it in front of me, but
Oh,
the
yeah.
job description that we gave you when
Yes.
you applied. So, I mean, that whole thing is different than it was just
2 years ago.
when you started.
Still like to see, you can talk to Sharon first.
Well, let's discuss it down the road then, and we'll try to.
All right, we'll bring it up next week.
Okay. After last week, I went looking for building locations. I come up with several locations possibility, north on Timber, on the way out to the old quarry out there. I think there's possibly 2 places out there we could put it, 2 private landowners that could possibly look at. There's also on the southwest corner of that intersection, right straight south of Pizza Hut. There's about 5.5 acres there on the corner. It would be right next to utilities and stuff there.
I checked on some of that there, Bryce, and the initial reaction that I got is whose ground is that? Can you remember?
It's owned by
The old
Bat
Bat,
Trust or something.
yes, it's in Bat Trust, and I talked to Brookins, and
Okay.
there's been some discussion about selling it, and it's not too likely to
Okay.
happen.
Well, it's
So that's that one there,
Right,
south
okay.
of 50,
And I
south
have-
of 56.
yes.
Yes.
I haven't done any more than that.
Yeah.
I checked into Marion's Industrial Park. There are 5. Actually, where the Family Dollar stuff in there, there's going to be a street on the south side of there that connects back up. Basically, everything to the east and south along that street would still be available. Each lot is about 1 acre, so that's a possibility. I don't know if, I kind of just touched base with Roger last week about it. So that's an option.
Is that what you have drawn in there? The-
Yeah. Did I send this to you?
Yeah, but
I just got that like Friday. Basically, everything on this side over here with a little
See,
cul-de-sac.
that's gonna be new right there.
Yeah, that's all cul-de-sac.
So would they be,
I haven't talked anymore to them about it.
they wouldn't be,
You might see it.
they haven't committed to whether or not they'd give you the lots.
Correct.
And bring in the
Yeah,
utilities.
I just was doing that and,
Just to find location.
yeah, so. And then, of course, I mean, I'm sure there's others. You guys, was you gonna talk to Hillsborough as well, or did you?
I did already.
I already did.
Okay.
Basically, they said, any lot they got that they could facilitate, they would work with us just like they did on the EMS.
Okay,
Up to 5 acres.
okay, and that would be then,
5 acres.
Either by the Hoop Building, or the
West of the-
industrial park, or by the AMPI building.
West of the Hoop Building was where you gained the most ground.
okay, where's the hoop building?
That, Kansas.
In White-
Right there
Kansas.
on Kansas.
Yeah.
Oh, I got you, west, okay, gotcha.
That great-
And what would you come
great
in off
storage
of?
building.
What road would it come
The
in?
great
Highway.
storage
Highway.
building?
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't know what they called that.
But they didn't say that we had to be there.
Right.
They-
Okay.
But these
just
are,
a-
there was 3 different locations that city property had enough space for us.
Okay.
And those were the
Gotcha.
3 that were talked about. And everything was just exploratory.
Exactly.
It wasn't,
Yep.
but it was basically left as, well, you know how the EMS building went. And we'll do whatever we need to.
Gotcha.
If you
Okay.
want.
Well, I'll follow up with more information. I think that was my,
The landowners north of 56 there?
I haven't talked to
I
them.
haven't talked to anyone.
Yeah. I just stopped driving around and found those locations, so.
Is there
Yeah.
quite a bit of ground there too?
Well, I mean, that was the other thing, and I was thinking, we needed a lot of acres, but I added up what we have right now, we're about 2.2.
Yeah.
It's pretty
But if you
good.
moved, you'd wanna open up a little bit.
Exactly.
You'd wanna
Yeah.
breathe.
Yeah,
Don't want to
Yes.
keep
yeah,
him
Yes.
in,
yeah,
Yeah.
so, but anyway, okay,
not anybody else gonna build, but.
right.
No.
I don't know, Brad's not here, did anybody hear back for sure on the road use permit? Any more follow-up? Okay.
Is anybody gonna look at,
Hmm?
maybe you were gonna look at Canada? We talked about Canada.
I drove around Canada. I don't know basically everything south. I didn't, there's a little triangle piece on the east side of Canada connected right there on the south side of 56. I don't know how big that would be. Everything south of there was fields. The area northwest corner of that intersection going out towards the reservoir, there's a little pasture right there in the corner. I don't know how big that is either.
That's her mom and dad.
That's her mom and dad's. Okay, well, mark that off the list. I didn't know how big that was, but anyway, like I said, just driving down the road.
I was just talking about exploring
Sure.
locations.
Sure.
I always want to make sure that one got,
Yeah.
you always get asked, why
yeah.
didn't you look at Canada?
Yeah, the water, the water is there, electricity's there. Obviously, we have to put in some sort of a lateral system or whatever else they can. Oh, I also checked with KDOT out here at their mixing strip east of town on the north side of the road up on top of the hill. Joe was gonna check into it, but he said, he says it kind of makes sense. We can provide a little security for the stuff that they have up there, which is one thing. The biggest thing there would be water and sewer. They would probably, and I don't even know if there's rural water anywhere close to there, or whether it's go back to a well system, because that's what we have at the South Shop, so. Anyway.
You wanna stay away from a well system.
Yeah, well, that's, like I said, the power could come from the south side, but anyway, so.
That's neat to,
Kinda hog me
just
the
to
whole
sort
time.
of talk about it, because we're not forcing something like
Yeah.
that. And that's,
Yeah.
That's good.
There's a lot of things that we do, so. Crack seal, they should get done with 3/30th today. They've had a heck of a time with showers and wind. They had to quit Friday because their signs kept blowing over. They finally just called it.
So I think they had 2.5 miles left,
Yeah,
and, the first couple times I drove, man, there's a lot of cracks out there. Now, after they've sealed them, I finally counted one half mile. There was over 100 cross cuts. That's not counting the long,
yeah,
and they get every one of them.
yeah.
I
Well,
couldn't believe it.
they're walking right behind the machine. I mean, whatever they come up with, so.
Yeah,
But yeah,
there's a lot.
I was amazed when they were filling those up. I mean, they're basically full depth all the way to the ground, and they go across, fill them up, they squeeze you, and then they go back and fill them up, and
what causes that, Bryce? I mean,
basically, the pavement structure, like anything else, has wear, or not wear, but stresses.
Stress.
Concrete pavement, say, hey, I want you to crack here, so I'm gonna
Yep,
cut it.
okay.
Asphalt, we don't.
Yep.
And that's basically the material breaking. The other thing is that you'll have UV lights on top. When the UV hits it, things shrink, just like your skin. So as it cracks on top, you get water in there, cracks some more, cracks some more.
Has it just been the last 2.5 years or 3, hasn't it, that they showed up? As far
Yeah.
as-
They've been there longer than what you think they have.
probably.
They were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing is, which is a little bit more concerning, is the cracks that they've done on 330th west of west of K15. We got some areas over there where there was a lot of cracks.
That's where I counted.
Yeah, and strange cracks, because they're longitudinal cracks, and they should, again, it's one of those things, they shouldn't be there, but they are.
But
But
then
by sealing them up, it's.
After that, I went down South Ohio and Salina, and they were about 3 foot apart, 3 foot squares. So I thought, well, maybe it's not so thick.
Yeah, so.
Man,
Anyway, they when they finish that up, they'll have 90th left, and then finishing Pawnee and Old Mill. So barring any problems, they should be done this week. So, but I've been out there and they've been doing a good job.
Good.
So, they're very safety conscious. Their fighter vehicle going back has a little siren alarm, whatever you say, is real loud, like an ambulance, whatever else. When they get close, and they're coming. So
Huh.
it's wonderful.
To
So
the workers,
Yep.
Oh.
Yep, so they know that he's coming, so. Anyway, the last thing was, we've got our auction sale, tomorrow. Currently, our Volvos are 43.5 and 32.5, our 120s at 29.5. I would fully anticipate another 5 to 10,000 on each one of them, but you just
The
never
last,
know.
last 5 minutes it's gone. It'll probably grow by $15,000.
Yeah, we could only hope. Now, a lot of those, they, if there's enough interest right before that, they'll actually extend the deadline about 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Just
just jump
make
it
sure-
every 5 minutes.
Yeah, make sure everybody comes in, so. But anyway, so we'll see what happens, but.
Yeah, a lot of people have either bid, just so it gets put on their watch list, and then they wait to the last.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen over and over.
I'm
And I've
look-
seen them go for hours
Yeah,
afterward.
Yeah.
Because one will bid and it'll be 5 minutes. One will bid and they'll throw another 5.
I was a little disappointed in our V plows and stuff like that, which we've talked about, but, we could not pull them from the bid for those reasons. So somebody's gonna get a very good salvage.
What kind of
Can't.
price are they?
They won't,
One
they'll allow
ten.
you to set a reserve.
$110?
$110 a piece. Yeah, there's no reserve, everything.
And Randy, but now I can see.
Well, and-
Wheels turn there.
The same thing with our old D6 tracks. I mean, thought maybe that would bring something, and they're hardly bringing anything either. So we don't, but that's one of the reasons that they won't, that they will not pull it.
What's
So,
one of them V plows would be?
don't know. There,
Worth more than $150.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah.
problem with though is you'll have the cost of loading them and hauling them, which I don't know what is, but, and I don't know scrap wise, cause I mean, obviously they're gonna have to cut them up and everything else, so they're gonna look at that saying,
Hold.
hmm?
Every time I look at it, it jumps $4,000.
Just keep looking.
Yeah, keep looking, just keep
it up.
refreshing.
Keep it on.
So, anyway, I think that's it for me. I know it's been a long time, so.
A lot of topics.
Any questions, comments, suggestions
Kansas south
of,
of 190th, getting reports that cars are dragging.
really?
Yeah.
Okay,
So I ain't been down it. I
okay,
just,
I'll check it out.
if it's that bad, it's,
Take her
I mean, that's
milling.
church route, so
Yeah, take her
there's a
milling
lot of
machine.
cars.
Yeah, take her milling machine and then hit some of those, so. Okay,
I seen this morning out there, you had the little skid steer out there on mile east of Peabody.
Bonnie?
Yeah.
Hmm?
If they got any extra time, all that brush is full of hedge. I started raking all that stuff up there that the John Deere cut,
Okay,
and there's just a ton of it in the ditch for that half mile.
on the very north half mile?
Both, up there on that end and then where my place is at too.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that little skid steer could help me clean that ditch out, get all that hedges
Yeah,
out of
that,
there.
unfortunately, either way you go with it, that's one of the downfalls of either using the John Deere with a boom arm or the forestry mulcher. It just, any of that stuff, it just makes pieces,
Yeah,
so,
but you can't rake it.
right.
I mean,
There's a
I
lot
took it
of
along my
big
driveway,
stuff,
but
yeah.
it took me a couple hours yesterday to do
Yep.
it, so I don't know if we could run that thing in there, and if it's got a clamshell bucket, and
Is that the
I don't know if it
burner?
does have or not.
Well, we've got a
Or-
we've got a grapple
Do you?
bucket, which
Okay.
is,
That would-
it just has 2 prongs on either
Yeah.
side, but
Mhm.
it's mainly just manual labor, just going there and throwing it all together. Now Jeff, when he uses the hoe, he can at least kind of rake it up into one spot. and do
Whatever,
that, so,
whatever it
yeah.
would be, just I mean, I've got it piled up there, you can pile it on my place, I don't care, I'll burn it, and try getting rid of it. The dishes need to be clean, because they're already blocked.
The other comment about Kansas, I forgot, but it said that it's ditches holding water somewhere.
Yeah, if you go south down around
South of the bridge.
160th, and actually right south of 180th, there's a spot there too. That area is really flat. That's actually one of those spots, I think it's down around there where we had all those stalks that plugged up the culvert and water ran across the road for about a mile. And I'm guessing they're probably still there,
Okay.
so,
Well, I just,
yep.
2 problems are probably related.
Okay, anything else?
You shouldn't say that. Anything else?
Anything else? That's what I'm here for. Okay. All right, guys, think of anything else, obviously, you know.
Thank you, Bryce.
All right,
There's that resolution from earlier that just needs signatures.
Yeah, almost 30,000 on that.
Maybe that will be fun.
No, that's the same. I didn't do any justice over it.
Look at them when they go up. You can get a commission for checking.
Pickups are doing up there and they were.
They need to get one back.
Airplane needs something.
I wonder if neither one of them are four-wheel drive.
No.
I don't think it'd be appropriate.
No, it's not. That would be folly.
One farm has a jump truck parked in there again for decoration.
He was a yay on that day.
Yeah, I forgot to do that.
You know, flat
Of course,
tires,
we got a little box.
rats.
Oh, my goodness. I don't think she would appreciate that.
Oh, so one is four-wheel drive.
Um,
I didn't know that.
All right, we had added an item for a storage building on the agenda. We've talked a lot about buildings. One that's been talked about the longest has been south of the jail for trailer storage, equipment storage, for sheriff, for emergency management, for a clerk, for a courthouse. And in light of some other discussions that are going on, it seems like it's time to get moving on that storage project. I know we have a lot of other moving parts, but I guess in my mind, I kind of see the storage as maybe a little more, it's landlocked in that position. We can't really use it for a public access building, but for storage, it's the appropriate location. And I know Commissioner Dalkey's done a lot of background work on that property, knows the history. We want to definitely work with the sheriff's office, because I know they have needs, and obviously the proximity, we need to have setbacks so they have room for future expansion if needed. But at the same time, the proximity to the courthouse, to the sheriff's office, it'd certainly be a good location. I think something can be done that would be good for the county and be able to be done efficiently. So I guess I'm gonna kind of turn it over to Commissioner Dalkey and let you make some comments.
It's never gonna get done unless we do it. The things I would propose probably is, or ask for the commission to decide on if everybody agrees to go ahead with something, is to how the building procedure would go, whether we would do, Cody Nelson has talked to me that he's working with Cloud County on, Joni, tell me what that is, where he's guaranteed no overrun or something to.
Guaranteed maximum price.
Yeah, something to that effect. I guess he likes the way Cloud County's laid out, he'd like to show it to us or something like that. He called me a couple weeks ago and talked about it, and I haven't went nowhere with that. But that's one thing. Then the basic needs of what Dave was talking about is, I've always looked at it as, number one, started this project is the attic storage up there. That is the one that's been number one for that, and then we threw in, after we got those the things that we're having trouble with planting in a building, that was the second reason for putting the building together, was the emergency trailers and things like that. So now we've got a few more emergency trailers to take care of. So what, at that time, and if it fits with what Roger said, it's already zoned for us, it's ready to go. That was just a front view facing the north at that time, was just 3 doors and things like that. But I never went as far as figuring an inside cost for inside storage or anything like that. Just to put the building up is the only thing that we went, and that's all thrown out for now. I mean, I don't even have a clue what we're talking about in total dollars for that. So and 14-foot high sidewalls is what I had sort of planned. That was the door on the south end at that time. To just wanted to go all the way through.
So you run the building east and west then?
The pitch of the roof, yes. The pitch of the roof, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, there's another design. Maybe somebody else has a better design where you run it all the water goes to that corner behind the jail. Goes clear to that corner.
Goes
From
that way.
Yeah, it goes north, then it goes down in the creek, yeah, that way. So if there was a design to bring the water to this end of it, to the north end of it, Dave, with one of those other type slopes, that might be a better way to go. I don't know nothing about buildings that big, so. But anyway, that's really what we've done so far, is looking for that. There, with an 80 by 90, we left 45 to 50 foot on the south end to expand for future buildings with this plan here. So that's about all I can tell you right now. The sewer and the water is all, electric would come in from the southeast corner. And that still seemed to be the best fit when I talked to Roger the other day. Southeast corner would be your power, sewer, water. Everything would come from there. So I think it's just a matter of setting our tones and deciding that and then put somebody in charge to either come up with a plan and with what Dave's done already. I don't know what all he has, but that's what I've done so far, and I think we need to do it. It's county storage. Right now, it would not be public building.
Right.
It would not be. If it was added on to the other end, maybe that other end could be publicly entered at some point for that, so.
It's just the priority on storage is just
Yeah.
getting so high. We've gotta get a plan in place for storage, and I know we have other public offices that we need to
The only
address.
thing that would change my opinion on this building would be what we've experienced with COVID, is somewhere this building be designed that we could have a drive-through facility where we could use it, and we could move, shift, keep one lane somewhere to where we could have a drive-through. I mean, that looks so interesting to see other places have drive-throughs, and especially when we was out there with stocking hats and
Sure.
30-degree or 20-degree weather and
Zero.
stuff. Zero and stuff.
Intense drive.
Yeah.
We couldn't use it.
Yeah.
Well, that building's got another big door on the other end.
Yes, yes.
I mean,
one lane was straight through.
so
It'd be easy.
conceivably could be used for
Yeah.
something like that, depending how efficient you were on storing stuff.
Yes, yes.
Not just setting it on the floor here and there.
I would make it at least 2 stories high, maybe go 24 foot high.
Oh, jeez.
So you can put a second layer in there to store stuff up high.
If you do a steel
Don't cost much more to go up.
steel frame building, you can get 2 stories on about 16. I mean,
For storage.
Yeah.
Or document storage.
Yeah,
The Airstream building was designed for the second storage that the city built out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was its sidewall, or what was it height? Is it 16?
I think it's 16, I think.
I would hope that a 16, we could do a 2-story
I
document
mean, I
storage.
think we ought to
Yes.
incorporate
what,
part of the building or the whole,
Yes.
half the building, the back half or something.
to go full, like if you were gonna occupy the space, it's 2 stories, you'd want 20. You'd want 20, because your height, ceiling height's about 8 foot. Got your floor joists.
But you got your 12, 14 foot trailers you're putting in there.
Right. I'm just saying, if you were ever had that in mind.
Yeah, I think you just make offices, but no, we're gonna have,
Yeah.
you're probably gonna have 14 or 16 foot minimum for, you want to pull a semi in there, or, I mean, plan for the future.
So I guess what I'm
Or a
asking,
place or do they pick up with a semi?
what I would ask at this point is there a commitment from the commission to proceed with gathering information? Randy, can you help me on the wording of it? A consensus to move forward? Obviously, we're not finalizing any plans, but to bring plans to the commission for that location, that use.
I mean, I was wondering why you wouldn't run it north and south, the building, instead of east and west. so the doors just face out to the street.
Okay, okay.
I know this.
Well, which street?
This street right out here.
Okay, if the jail ever expands, Dave, it's designed to go south through the, do you remember the exercise area in there, or have you been in there?
Yeah.
Okay, that exercise area would be the next area they would go through and expand to the south. So that's why we've stayed away from using that area. And when Dave Mueller just questioned it, he said, well, that's why he come up with, when we walked it, he looked at that little brown building, and that would be, if we was to acquire that, yes,
Yeah.
then it would, I would agree with you 100%.
But because of the way the configuration is, that's kind of the way it makes
But
sense.
are you gonna be hemmed in to back a trailer in there?
We should be able to pull through.
Gotta pull,
We left enough room
we
on
gotta
the
pull
north.
against the jail.
We left in
So
the
you can
north,
back up.
unless they keep it growing, if you've seen how many cars there's out there right now, but,
Well, they got 3 or 4 that said,
well, there's a set in the, but we've left enough room to pull a semi up.
And the key is to leave room for
I
jail.
wasn't looking at that, but
Yeah. What kind of square foot cost do you think, Joe? Just give me an estimate, do you think, for put a building that size up?
steel frame,
Steel frame? Cement floors?
just an open building.
Yeah, I was just trying to, I just want to see what today's price may even come in at.
Steel frame, open building, what's your dimensions?
90 by 80?
90 by 80.
Is that what that was based on?
Yes. That's,
But that was with 14-inch sidewall, 14 foot?
yeah,
What if you did 16?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's gonna go up some.
But I mean, that's where you get the cheapest
Efficiency,
space.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, like I said, going up is the cheapest.
That's 7,200 square feet.
What?
7,200 square feet. 80 wide, 90 long.
I'm guessing.
Guess high.
Yeah, I'm gonna say around 750.
750?
Because we're not talking about ditching it out. Like,
$100 a square foot,
oh yeah,
120.
and it's really the
Oh, you
building.
went 750,000.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Excuse
yeah,
me,
I was wondering.
I was thinking 750 a square foot.
No.
Okay, times 150 even.
Seven,
See,
750.
That's a million.
cement's $7 a square foot, isn't it? Run a parking lot?
I'm just trying to come up with $150
Maybe
per
told me the
foot.
other day.
$120 a yard.
$1,080,000
I know.
for,
But then you got labor and wire.
A truckload of cement's $1,000 now. It was last year.
Yeah, every time for a transformer pad for just electric transformers, $1,000. 1,500 now, I think. Yeah.
Why don't we move forward and use that concept, that
See what it
square
costs?
footage with 16 foot? and-
Sidewalls?
And
If Cody gives
Start
an
something.
estimate.
We could go post frame, cut that cost down a lot. I mean, if we're just talking storage forever, but we wouldn't be able to go much more than 40 wide. 50 wide is about all the
See,
more
we
you
need
can
to sort
do.
of put 2 trails end to end.
Okay, well, to move things forward, I guess I'm gonna come back to my question of, is there consensus from the commission to move forward on putting together a plan to bring back for approval?
I'm ready.
I guess I would make the motion that we
Go ahead, go ahead.
proceed with investigating the storage of trailer, vehicle, document storage south of the jail on that county-owned property. And I'd ask Commissioner Dalkey to lead that
Okay,
process.
that's your motion?
Is it? Yes.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Dalkey. Questions?
Is that 90 all the north-south space you got?
Is all the space I got?
Yeah.
With the
90 feet north to south?
No, I've got more room than that. I've got
Oh.
100 and some feet. I left 50 foot to the south of it, south end of the building.
Right. well, you still want a 25-foot setback, at least, probably.
Yeah, whatever the limit is back there, and then up north, we would just leave enough room for a semi to pull up and then back in, or
Okay. And
up here, from the little white building that the sheriff has.
Almost wonder if we would entertain, and this is open, it doesn't count on the vote.
Well,
but
just
if you
get a price.
get a price on the widest pole, post frame that you could get,
Let me
and
ask
a
you.
little longer,
Let me ask you, Jonah,
and that way we get it erected, maybe not get concrete,
okay,
and see what that cost comes in, because once you get it up, you can always work at getting the rest.
let me ask you though, lifetime, I mean, we're doing
Post frame.
something for a lifetime, and
Post frame's probably not, I mean, it's not gonna last as long as the steel.
And I don't know, you know, we've got a building sitting up there at Road and Bridge, and I don't know when it was for the truck storage. I don't know when that was put in, but it's still there. It's a little rough, because it's been banged on around and stuff like that. And what would wood frame look like there?
Wood frame not gonna take the abuse that they put.
No.
Yeah.
And so that was why we went, I went steel, was
I
just
would
looking
go
at,
metal, 'cause
I mean, that was my consensus, so.
Okay, well, and those are options that can be explored.
Yeah, we can explore
As well as
that
the
too.
size,
with
dimensions.
35 years of not building downtown,
I-
Save a lot
and
of
it still
money.
looks new inside.
Okay, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. I would also ask that we be in very close consultation with the sheriff's office.
Okay.
Yeah, because, he's an elected official.
Sure.
so- And the amount that I see happening, we might need to build a bigger jail.
The sheriff,
He's doing a good
the
job.
past sheriff was all along with this all the
Yeah.
time. But I haven't talked to the new sheriff. so
I did send him an email just to let him know we were gonna discuss it, but I wanna be in close partnership with him on this
Well,
project.
it really isn't. You gotta bring them in and book them.
And
Right.
I would
Then
ask,
we're alone.
I would ask the commission then, if I go to somebody and ask them, and I'll just tell you up front, I'm thinking Cody Nelson, just to see what he could do for us,
It's an estimate.
just to give us an estimate and see what's available. Would that be okay with the commission, just to see? I mean, we don't know nothing now. There's other people out here too that can do that, other companies.
And again, with the storage space, let's make sure that into that design goes space for the sheriff, the needs of the sheriffs, the needs of the clerk, emergency management trailers, whatever we could possibly, you could maximize the use.
We put 3 large doors on the north end and then a smaller one over here, and that was the design at that time to use all the storage along be the east side of that building if it was erected this way. You can just look at it down through there and see that small door. That's what we was thinking of, putting all the storage to the east side. The water, sewer, and everything was over there. And so, but that's something else, drainage and part of the floor. I mean, you wanna have that all under control at the time, and when you're building just an empty building, maybe not.
That was a Butler building.
Yeah.
All right, that concludes our formal agenda. I guess if there's any public comments, if there's anyone still with us online. Are there
If anyone is on the meeting and has a public comment, if you would either type it in the chat or unmute your microphone.
Okay, not seeing any, we'll go to commission comments. Any commission comments?
I already made mine. Sheriff's doing a good job.
Okay. And we would be
Mr. Speech yesterday.
ready to go to work session for department head evaluations. How long?
So would you want to adjourn your regular meeting and then do a work session?
Okay, but it would be executive session. I'm just asking.
That's what it's on the agenda.
Recess.
Yeah, see, to me, I think you can, but just, if you do it in your regular meeting, it's fine, it's just not the way we had it listed, so let's do it like you said, just keep it,
I'm just asking.
no, just do it the way you're
Doesn't really
doing
matter.
it. That's fine.
Okay.
Because the attorney told me last time that we're not supposed to make a motion for an executive session on a work session.
In a work session.
No, on it.
Oh, okay.
In a work session, right, I think that's
So-
true.
Well, our purpose is to prepare department head evaluations,
That's personnel.
which would be
Right.
personnel
So
issues.
just stay in your regular
So I think
meeting.
it would be appropriate to stay in our commission meeting, but move to executive session to do those personnel evaluations. So how long is the commission willing to stay tonight? Just order in supper and
Yep.
go till dark?
Let's get it done.
If we could do half today and the other half on Friday.
Yep.
So, do you wanna go an hour and a half? That'd be 4:30.
Yeah.
You wanna go to 5?
Let's just go to 4:30.
Okay, we are
At least that's what.
Yep.
All right, I move that we recess an executive session in order to discuss personnel performance pursuant to KSA 754319B, forgot the dash, between 75-4319B. Item 1, personnel matters, non-elected personnel performance with the commission for an hour and a half from 3 o'clock to 4:30. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gary, discussion.
Could we start that after a 5-minute break?
We will do that after a 5-minute break.
Yes.
Recess.
Okay, thank you.
So actually, we will start we'll take a 5-minute break from 3 to 3:05. We'll go into executive session at 3:05, come out at 4:35. Commissioner Gary, you're okay
Still
with
second.
second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. We will go into executive session for department head evaluations and be back at 4:35. Thank you for mentioning the recess. I gotta do that. Oh.
It's on.
Okay,
Transmission.
you good?
The lady spoke.
Yes.
Okay. We are out of executive session doing department head reviews, no action taken. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Gary, second by Commissioner Becker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. We are adjourned. Thank you. We'll see everybody 9 o'clock.